Hey guys, Puma here. Today we're going to take a few minutes and talk about a subject that I think you'll be really interested in, and that is how to gain followers on your Facebook gaming profile or your Facebook gaming page. Now, this is where I currently game. It's where I got started. It's where I've grown. So I got a little bit of experience here. The reason this is important and the reason I get asked about this so much is because, a lot of you either start, maybe you've made a switch with the growth in electronic esports and gaming and streaming and online content creation. There's a lot of people currently out there that are starting or that are really looking to grow. So I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to grow your Facebook gaming page, how to set it up, and how to get followers. Now, there's one thing that I'm not going to cover in this video, and that is the very sort of easy, obvious elephant in the room, which is boosted posts or paid advertising. Now, paid advertising can be something that is fairly effective on Facebook, depending on what your metric is, whether it's getting messages, interactions, page likes, engagements, views, and things like that. So I'm not going to talk about that. That's an option, but I'm going to cover the examples that aren't going to cost you any money. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do, and this sounds really straightforward and really obvious, but the first thing you want to do is set everything up. So when you start a Facebook gaming profile, it has built in, along with many of the other gaming platforms, it has built into your creator dashboard sort of objectives. Add a profile picture, create your bio, different metrics and things like that you can do slowly. You check them off the list, and that's great. Something that I want you to really pay attention to is to fill everything out. So going as far as your profile picture, your banner, adding a bio, you're going to be able to add hours of operation, which are generally going to be when you stream most of the time or on what days. Things like websites, so social media links, websites if you have one. If you don't have social media, create those. If you don't have a Twitter for your Facebook gaming page, or you want to use your personal Twitter, that's fine. Same with Instagram. All these things you want to fill in as many of the boxes as possible. The reason that's important, and the reason really all of the things we're going to talk about are important, is you have to understand how growth happens organically on Facebook. Most of the time, people aren't going to search for you. Now, there's the sort of suggested, if I follow a game like Call of Duty or League of Legends or something like that, you're going to have your suggested videos. Okay. Now, especially for you newer or smaller streamers, what happens a lot and how you get new followers, besides the friends that you've invited, because we all have those, is going to be shares, likes. It might pop up on someone else's page that people are sending stars or people are liking Armored Puma's stream. But one of the best ways to get eyeballs on your stream early is through shares. Now, what do people look at and what causes them to stick around? Well, they're going to look at the picture or the thumbnail that's on your stream. They're going to look at your description on the stream, and they're going to check out your gaming page, right? So what they see initially, we want to dress that up. We want to make it look really good, because that's what's going to draw them in, and hopefully that's what's going to keep them long enough to check you out as a creator. So the first thing is set everything up. Now, I would say a big one here, and this took me a while to figure out, and once I did it, I think it really helped the overall feel, the overall brand, the overall professionalism of my stream, is to set a description, a generic description for any time you go live. So when you go live on Facebook, you have your creator dashboard, you set up a stream, you have the title, you have the description, and you have the game, and you pick everything like that out. Now, the title is generally very short. They've got a character limit. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's 40 or 50 characters, something fairly short. The description is longer, 500 characters. And what I started doing when I was new is I would put something like, hey, come by, say hello, check me out. We're playing Warzone tonight. We're playing Call of Duty. We're playing Final Fantasy VII, whatever it was. And what I would suggest to you is go to your favorite streamer. Go to your favorite big streamer on Facebook. Look at their description and see what they have. See what they've done. A lot of them will do exactly what I'm about to tell you to do. They'll have a copy and paste version that they have for every stream. And at the very start of their description, they have, hey, it's April 19th. We're starting off by playing some Call of Duty. And later on in the afternoon, we're going to team up with Stone Mountain and play some Among Us. And then you go on to your generic description that's there every single stream. So the first part is about that specific stream for that day. The second part is about basically everything, whether it's here's a link to your socials, here's a link to, here's my setup. If I'm on PC, here's my setup. Here's a way to, send donations directly, whether it's through PayPal or some of these other third-party software platforms. Here's a short bio about me. Hey, my name's Puma. I got started in gaming at such and such date. So what I noticed is when I started doing that, because your description is going to be one of the first things people see when they click on that video. It's obviously the video, the title, and then the description. It's a great way to drive traffic to those other sources, and it's a great way to give people the feel. If they don't know you, they're going to look at that and say, this guy looks legit, right? And that's really what we're after to get them to stay. So again, the first thing is set everything up. The second thing that we're going to talk about today is get good graphics. Again, this goes back to how Facebook works and how people are going to come to your stream. Is primarily we're looking at when someone shares it, when someone stops by to check you out. They have a friend that maybe sends it to them in a Facebook Messenger group. Hey, I saw this guy. You guys should check him out. What are they going to look at? Well, they're probably going to see your profile picture. They might see the banner. They might see a thumbnail. You have the option with Facebook Gaming to upload a thumbnail, much like on YouTube, every time you put a live stream together. So you can fairly inexpensively buy or pay. I use a website called Fiverr, Fiverr, Fiverr.com. It connects consumers or buyers with freelance people who do like primarily online stuff, maybe web design or graphic design, things like that. But a lot of times you can get these services for very cheap. So at one point I paid someone $35 to create 8 custom thumbnails for my for YouTube and for Facebook Gaming. They look fantastic. They're professionally done. And again, it cost me $35. You can get I got a logo done early on for 10 or 15 or $20. So this is a low cost. And I think it's really, really going to help. So invest some time. If you can't do it yourself, maybe you have a friend who's really good with Photoshop. Again, go to some other streamers, take a screenshot, say, this is what I'm looking for. I want something that looks cool like this. Can you make this for me? If you have a friend that'll do it for free, that's awesome. If not, go check out Fiverr. I'm sure there's probably a couple of other sort of online platforms like that, but you can get that done for way cheaper than you might think at first. And again, why is that important? Well, someone's going to stop by and they're going to look at your profile picture. If they see, something that makes you look like you don't know what you're doing, then that's their first impression, right? Same thing with the thumbnails. I don't know how many times early on I would go live and I would later look at the archive when it would show my video, and it was just my starting soon screen, which is how I started all my streams. So someone who sees that in a group or someone who gets sent that's the first thing they see, starting soon. And you go like that, it's not really drawing me in. And then once I started adding good graphics, I can't undervalue this. I can't oversell it enough. I can't emphasize it enough. Once I started adding those graphics, I think it really changed. My click-through rate went up. The amount of, eyeballs that were on it to people that actually clicked on it went up, and it really helped. So a lot of times you can do everything I'm talking about for $40 or $50. So I would definitely say that. So that's tip number 2, is get good graphics. Okay, so here's my third tip. The third tip today is join other Facebook gaming groups. And what I mean by that is you'll be able to find a ton of groups that are new Facebook gaming group, or Twitch and YouTube streamers united, Puma's pack of small streamers, North America, or whatever. You're going to be able to find a ton of those. And in large part, all those groups is a platform where people show up and just share the crap out of streams. So you're not going to get an enormous return. It's not like if there's 10,000 people in that group, they're just sitting there waiting for your stream to show up so they can all come watch it. You're going to get a very low return based on how many people are in that group and whatnot. But it's free to do. So join all of them that you can. Every time you go live, share. Now, I believe Facebook has some sort of limit that they cap you at. I don't know if it's 10 or 15 or 20 shares in 5 minutes or 10 minutes but there's some cap that you'll hit, and Facebook will say, all right, you got to slow down. But every time you go live, you want to share to as many groups as possible. If you hit a cap, then you wait 20 or 30 minutes and you share to as many more groups as possible. Now we've done number 1 and number 2. So we've set everything up. We have all of our socials on our page. We have a profile picture and a logo because we did number 2, which is get good graphics. Hopefully we have a thumbnail of our stream that makes us appear like we're a big streamer. And so now all of a sudden, when this stream gets shared to a lot of these platforms, someone scrolling through that, they're going to look at yours and they're going to be like, this Armored Puma guy, he looks legit. I'm going to check him out. Okay. That's what we're going for. If there's 10,000 people in a group, then you might get a couple of them that even click on the link, just from my experience. And of those couple, maybe only one sticks around for a few minutes. But if you do that 100 times over the course of a stream, if you do that 1,000 times over the course of a month or two, how many of those are going to turn into views, and how many of those views are going to turn into follows? It's an easy, free, perfectly legitimate way. You're not violating any sort of terms of service or anything like that to grow your stream and to get more followers. So that's really what we're after here, right? That's really what we're after. So again, tip number 3 is join as many of those groups as possible. So to review, and then I'll give you guys a bonus, but to review, number 1, set everything up. Your bio, your description, profile, set up your whole profile, set up your social medias as well. All this stuff is free. Tip number 2, get good graphics. A lot of times you can do a logo, you can do some thumbnails, you can do a banner, either for free if you have a friend that can do it, maybe you know how to do it, or you can pay someone on Fiverr 40, 50, 60 bucks, relatively inexpensive. It's a great investment. That's absolutely something everyone should have, at least a logo. Tip number 3, join as many of those groups as possible. If you're new and you do those 3 things, that's going to set you up for the best amount of success. Now, of course, there's something that we haven't talked about, and that thing is that you have to have good content. You have to be able to create. You have to sort of be able to engage with your audience and find your niche and understand how to play games and interact with your audience and all of those things. You have to be able to get good at that if you're going to do this. But the things when it comes to Facebook, setting everything up so that you can get in a position to create good content in front of as many eyeballs as possible are those 3 things. Now I'm going to give you guys a bonus. This is something that I do that I think it's really helped me out, or I started doing at least earlier on, and I think it really helped me out. You can pay someone to do this, or if you have a friend that's willing to volunteer, or there's someone in your chat consistently, this is another great way to just ask them, is have what I would call sort of a sharing moderator. Someone that every time you go live, let's say you have a friend that likes to play the same game as you, or they follow your stream a little bit, and you say, hey, would you do me a favor? Anytime you see me go live, if you're not busy doing something else, could you just pop in and share my stream to as many of these groups that you're a part of as possible, and I'll buy you dinner, or, maybe you work something out. But most of us have at least a couple friends that would be willing to do that. That way you're really just adding to, you're just adding to the amount of eyeballs. Now, what I started doing at some point is I actually hired someone virtually who lives in another country, and I pay them to sort of be responsible for exposure, to really help me get more eyeballs on the stream, to help me gain exposure through Facebook. And one of the things they do is share my stream as much as they can through Facebook, through different types of social media, through Discord as well. Discord is one we haven't talked about, but you can apply a lot of these same things to Discord. And it really helps. Again, I want you to think about, as a small streamer, how many times have you watched a small stream and you've shown up to it and there's 0 or 1 viewers? I don't know about you guys, but when I was in that position where I showed up to a stream and I saw 0 or 1 viewers, I didn't feel like I should stay around too long because I felt like I'm the only person watching this guy or this gal. Now, a very small difference seemingly, but how many times did you show up to a stream where there's 10 people or there's 15? What's the difference in appearance between someone who has 1 or 2 viewers and someone who has 8 or 9? There's something about that little number that when I know there's 9 other people watching this guy or there's 15 other people, now all of a sudden I feel like I'm a part of the crowd. And so really, I think your goal early on, and it was my goal early on, was to consistently be at, 9 or 10 or 12 or 15. And once I'm there, it's going to exponentially create more of that growth and more people are going to stay. And it's just going to help out more in the long run. So I hope that was helpful. Those are my 3 tips for growing, getting more followers, and growing your Facebook gaming page. As always, guys, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel right now. It's free. You can find me on social media, Twitter, Facebook, of course, and Instagram. They're all Armored Puma 17. And I'm currently streaming on Facebook at fb.gg/Armored Puma 17.